This is Red Dog Terrain. Welcome back to the shed. Today we're doing the Big Bot Bash. So every year in March, Bill from Bill Making Stuff releases the Big Bot Bash generator for his Big Bot Bash. And this is a fairly neat idea. He sets up a list of characteristics, and you roll 5 to 6 dice, and that kind of decides how you're going to build your big bot for the Big Bot Bash. And once again this year I participated, and after rolling my dice I got a weird head, dangerous arms, worm-like body, long legs, and the flavor was Explorer, and this was my sketch. So when I saw worm-like body, my immediate thought was to use the piece, the thing that everybody uses in all their videos for sci-fi and stuff like this. And luckily, due to friend of the channel Ariel, I have an entire 5-gallon bucket of these. I used maybe a dozen of these, so I made absolutely no dent in it at all. But so I took all these pieces and I cut out the center part. I was using clippers at first, and then I found out later that just cutting with an X-Acto knife was even easier, and then kind of clean up the inside with the clippers. So I got about a dozen of these, and there was 2 different shapes. Probably nobody's gonna ever even notice that there were 2 different shapes, but every other one is a different shape. So I'm gonna apologize right now for this video. I kind of left out a bunch of things just because I wasn't recording them. I really got into building this and was having a lot of fun, and oftentimes just forgot that I needed to film it for YouTube. Also, I was under a bit of a time crunch, so sometimes I would just go to the shed and rush out there and slap on a wash or put a thing on there and not even think about it. So this little ring comes from Mardi Gras, as you've probably figured out, or if I've said it before. I live in South Louisiana, and Mardi Gras was just a few weeks ago, and this little ring got thrown, and I cut it up and I stuck it on the end and made him look dangerous. And then I switched to the legs. The legs were long. That was the description that I got for my roll. So I immediately thought of getting dowels and having these long spindly legs that kind of barely held up the worm body. So I thought of spider legs when I was doing this, and when I was going to make the joint, I figured, well, I had to use a bead because Bill loves some beads. So I found these little beads. I drilled them out a little bit deeper so I could fit a dowel in to fill it out. Used a very thin drill bit, and then put a piece of paper clip. Put a bit of paper clip through it. I found that physical and chemical adhesion works better. So having the super glue on there, but also that little bit of paper clip just gives it something else for it to bite onto. And then I trimmed down the end of the legs, put them on there, put super glue, put baking soda just to make sure everything stays together, gets that really hard bond. As I build legs, let me give a plug to my friends at the Plastic Microphone Studio. We're a collection of YouTubers and content creators and podcasters who are all working together here in Louisiana just to help each other out and promote each other. So please check out my friends at the Plastic Microphone Studios. Once the legs were built, I needed to somehow attach it, so I took a small drill bit, I put a hole in a little bit bigger drill bit, and then a bigger one, then eventually just kind of carved out with an X-Acto knife, just trying to make it just big enough to where they squeezed in. That way they would hold a little bit better. I didn't do the best job on some of these, and they were a little loose. These are the little caps that they put on the instrument that you check ears, and I stole them from the doctor's office once, and I've got a bunch of them, and I've been using them for all sorts of things. So when I had to build a weird head, I actually just went to Lowe's and just kind of wandered around, and I ended up in the sprinkler system section and found this little piece here and then some other pieces, and I was like, well, if I put it this way and put it that way, and I ended up with this weird head and this big long nose, which doesn't really make any sense. Actually, if he's a cave explorer, maybe he's smelling for like underground fumes that are dangerous. Yeah, that's why he's got that nose. I think he looks really goofy and kind of derpy, but I love him. It's so cute and so silly looking. I took these little bendy parts. I don't remember where. I think I got them at a thrift store. Put them in there. Put a bunch of super glue and baking soda inside, and then put them down the back. And then later I would put super glue and wires just to kind of mush everything together. It made no sense at all why it would be like that. Then I moved on to those dangerous arms, and here's another part where I forgot to film. I forgot to film the entire right arm. I gave him a pickaxe, and just didn't film it. Also, at one point, I noticed that the arms are real thin and spindly, so I took straws and I cut them down the center and put them over the spindly little dowels, and it bolted out, and I forgot to film that too, and now I'm on to painting. After spray painting everything black, I'll give it everything a overbrush of silver, the metallic silver, just kind of leaving all the dark spots underneath, making sure not to cover like the whole thing. That way that some of it still kind of bleeds through, and you still get that dark metal. And then after that, I would take a real busted up brush and dab on in between on the flat spots, avoiding the edges, kind of make it look like all the paint had come off. And then I left the bottom unpainted, to kind of mimic how a caterpillar would be. That's how I envisioned this thing. (130T) reporting in. Mine depth 4,512 meters. Drill check complete. Pickaxe check complete. Tail grinder check complete. Artificial factories engaged. Analyzing for methane. Methane check complete. Methane detected 0.04. Acceptable levels for exploration. Analyzing for carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide check complete. Carbon monoxide detected 1.3. Acceptable levels for human exploration. Analyzing for hydrogen sulfide. Hydrogen sulfide check complete. Hydrogen sulfide detected 9.18. Proceed with caution. 130T continuing. Mine depth 4,523 meters. I'm going to continue putting washes and dry brushes and make a base for this little guy. But as I do that, I want to say thanks to all those who came out to the Mid-City Microcon at the East Baton Rouge Library. It was wonderful seeing all these people come in, and I did a little workshop, and thanks to anybody who came to the little workshop and participated and made dungeon tiles and painted, and it was truly great. I really appreciated everybody who came and participated. Thanks to everybody who I met, and if this is your first time here, I just want to say hi and thanks for checking out the channel. Like, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff, but really just thanks for being here. I appreciate it. It was wonderful meeting everyone. Thanks. Due to the way the legs were fit into this, I knew that this little guy couldn't be freestanding. He was just too unstable, too wobbly. So I was gonna have to build a base. So this is a real simple base. It's like 8 inches by 8 inches, a cheap dollar store foam board, painted up, made a crusted with paint and sand and big little rocks and a little bit of water and lots of glue, and just kind of slopped the whole thing on there. And then after that, I put on a wash. I did some dry brushing, and we're getting close to the end. But I would be remiss if I didn't thank the band Aya for the use of their music in all of my videos. Reached out to these guys years ago, asked if I could use their music, and they were super cool about it. Please check them out on Bandcamp, link in the description. This song is La Piedra que suelta el sol, and before that was Luno. So all that's left to do is just glue them down and use a bit of weathering powder just to kind of dirty them up and take off some of the sheen. I'm going to be quiet, let the music play. Thanks for watching, thanks for commenting, thanks for liking, thanks for subscribing. Thanks guys.